All right, welcome to another episode of Talk Data to Me with myself, Craig Stewart, obviously. Good to be back. I've got Brooke the Penguin in the background, our Talk Data to Me hoodies, and my friend and yours, an honorary South African, world's biggest Springbok supporter, Jordan Morrow. I'm sure many of you are familiar with Jordan. Jordan, how's it going? Good to have you on the show.
I would love to hold that claim as the world's biggest Springbok fan, but maybe the world's biggest Springbok fan in the States. I'm sure there are people in South Africa that are bigger than me, but I will absolutely wear honorary South African banner all day long. I love South Africa, as everyone knows.
Yeah, good stuff. Maybe just a little bit of intro for those that don't know who you are. Tell us a little bit about yourself and more importantly, how you became such a big South African rugby supporter and South African supporter in general. We'd love to know.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jordan Morrow, I'm a data nerd through and through. I spoke at Craig's Data Fest last year, and we're planning and seeing if we can't make me get there again this year. I will be in Joburg or Sandton the week before, so let's make it happen. But through and through, my first experience really with South Africa was Mandela and rugby, going all the way back to maybe, golly, I'm old now, 2009, 2010 time period. Now, why that resonates with me is I played rugby and I coach rugby at the university level. And I fell in love with the South African Springbok story with Mandela and uniting a country. And I've traveled there many times, and the people are just so amazing down there that fallen in love with the country to the point that I have a tattoo of all of Africa, the continent, with a kudu that sits in the middle of it on my right shoulder. I was trying to figure out how to pay homage to Africa, South Africa, Mandela, and I used AI to create a tattoo and had a great artist put it on me. So I love it. I love coming down there. Any chance I get, I am happy to. It's a long flight, but I am happy to make that trek every time I can.
Amazing. And when we do get around to Data Fest Utah, I think I'm going to feel obliged to get a Utah-inspired tattoo for myself.
Absolutely. When you come out here, I'll just set it up with my artist and say, okay, I need another South African tattoo, and we're going to get Craig a beautiful mountain tattoo from Utah, something like that.
Yeah. I think whatever trail run we do when I'm out, I'll get the
absolutely
the outline somewhere.
I'll send you a pic. I've got a great idea already.
Awesome. Good thing that this is not a viral podcast. I'm not getting help to getting a tattoo.
We're gonna make it viral.
Yeah. I do have 2 tattoos, so I'm not totally opposed to the idea.
Absolutely.
Good. Jordan, let's get on to all things data. It's not something I typically prep these sorts of things, but I know having a conversation with you around data is just such an easy thing. Maybe let's kick off with, you do a lot of traveling. I think last time we spoke, I sort of joked that got more air miles than probably most pilots do and other well-traveled people, but mostly to go and actually speak at global data events. Maybe, just very South African audience watching this. Maybe what are some of the trends? What are some of the big things that you're seeing in data globally? And when I say data, I mean data, AI, everything that goes with it.
It's very interesting right now. So you're right. I do travel the world. Like, in fact, I've got a trip in October to Europe, a trip to South Africa. And in March, I'll be in Brazil speaking. And what's really interesting is the trends that you see in one location are the same sort of trends that you see in another. Everything is very similar right now. People are trying to figure out AI. You can't really figure out AI if you don't have good data. And I think that's one of the key things that's happening is I've got a prime thing I'm working on now, machine learning, or hopefully we get to that point if we're not already using it, but predictive modeling, just showing one organization has really good data and boy, did it look awesome. And then one organization didn't. And then, of course, it doesn't look as good. But the trends are the same. You're still looking at the governance side where organizations are trying to figure out the governance because, of course, good data feeds good insight, whether it's by, data-driven decisions or AI-driven decisions. And then so many organizations are trying to grapple with what does AI mean? What is it doing? We know what AI is to an extent. And then really focusing it into the South African audience, one of the key things that is important to me is the literacy side. Obviously, I help pioneer that entire space, and I still mentor people down there. I still work with organizations down there, even when I'm not there. And I see such a prime opportunity for your South African audience, because there's an appetite and there is a desire. And unlike here in the States where red tape sits, and I get there's regulations everywhere. What I mean by this is that it's primed for the taking in South Africa. And I think that's such in fact, I think all of Africa is really primed for great success. That's what's bringing me out is AI Expo Africa. And all of that is gathering in Johannesburg or Sandton in October. And I just think the opportunity is fantastic.
For sure. I mean, the data quality thing is something that's coming up massively. And I've always kind of, having worked in the data space now for a decade, I always see that there's something that puts impetus behind data governance and data quality. When I first started doing this in the banking or finance environment, it was BCBS 293, which really was, kind of hinged upon, good data governance and all that sort of thing. And it's kind of been up and down. And now that I see with this huge focus on AI and specifically generative AI, agentic AI, data quality has come to the fore. And it seems like, not data people outside of data within organizations are really taking notice now of poor quality data and how bad it can actually skew results, insights, etc. What should people be doing from an organizational level to improve data quality in their organizations?
Well, you're exactly right. I think that AI is kind of given this renaissance. Not that it ever went away, but it's bringing it more to the forefront, because the better your data is, the better your AI results, whether it's generative AI or machine learning. And these are all things that have been there for a long time, but I think the consumability of AI has made it so people are recognizing, oh, that answer was horrific. Well, it's probably because the data that input it there. But that should be a key. Like, you can't, the prime example, I was working with a huge pharmaceutical company. They want all this AI stuff. Guess what my first step was? It was data governance. We need to make sure your data, because it doesn't matter, garbage in, garbage out. That saying's been around forever. But I think AI is truly bringing it to the forefront and showing you, if you don't have good data quality and data governance and all these things, you need to wait. Not necessarily wait like forever, but small steps with AI, big steps with data quality and data governance.
And I think some people think that it's, things that can't necessarily be done in parallel. It's not necessary to completely stop your AI initiatives in your organization while you get the DQ and the data governance and everything right. They can be run in parallel. Obviously, you want to be moving a little bit faster, right, with the data governance side of things.
Yes, you should be doing it in parallel. You should be trying to find, I call it use cases or value-added things that they don't just buy AI tools, please, everybody. Never just buy a shiny object because someone made it look like it worked. Instead, focus on use cases. Where are the pain points? What is something generative AI can do for your business? By the way, if you don't know, ask generative AI and it can tell you certain ideas around it. It's kind of one of those fun circles, but absolutely you should be in parallel to doing these AI pieces. Clean your data. That should be an ongoing, constant thing. And the other thing is, we need to remember, it's not just generative AI that sits out there. Machine learning is super powerful. Don't forget this thing that's been around for a long time, because ChatGPT and Gemini and Claude is the nice shiny object. There is power behind machine learning and generative machine learning and algorithms. So, but it all boils down to, if your data is ready, in parallel, be cleaning, getting it right, get your strategy, and make it happen.
Yeah. And my previous episode, Andy Mabasa from Ultra, and I've had a few other conversations like this, is I think I think business is generally quite stuck on the data, etc., drives the outcome of AI, but not looking at the fact that AI can actually help the data quality, the data governance. So there's actually the internal use case is more, let's use the powerful or the power of AI, etc., to clean the data, to then get it to the flip side where we can then use custom insights, all that sort of thing.
Exactly.
And I think people are starting to kind of make that connection. Like, let's use AI to actually fix the data, to use AI. It's kind of a very neat circle.
Absolutely. It's the same like for documentation, right? I'm helping internally at our organization where we're looking at it. We're like, some of this documentation could be 10, 15, 20 years old. Why sit there and manually go through it? Why not you implement some sort of AI agent that sits on it that can look at it, find you all the issues, and if you want, maybe even replace it or rewrite the documentation, then you just upload it. So there's so many use cases like this. Again, we sit here and we take a look at the sexy, shiny object that literally sits in front of you with ChatGPT and things like that, when in the real power is those use cases. What are pain points? Where can we save time? Where can we generate ideas? That should be driving these implementations that we're looking to do, not just because someone said you could use this.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're very passionate about this. You obviously, really talk about it very well and quite, I guess, persuasive and sort of, really showing the value and all that sort of thing. I think a lot of companies, not a lot of companies, I think a lot of data departments, heads of data, etc., have a tricky time taking the message out to the rest of the organization. I guess this kind of talks to the data literacy, AI literacy side of things. What are some of your sort of best methods for really being heard and sort of getting this as part of the culture and fabric of the organization? This sort of like, we can use AI, let's get the data quality done first, let's use it to actually fix the data, and actually starting to get that trust and buy-in across the organization.
Yeah, so there's actually two sides to the same coin, and that coin is understanding. And on the non-data professionals, yeah, that's the literacy side, but we should never blame them that it's not working. And then on the flip side, it's business literacy for the data professionals, because their background is not, how do I build good communication plans? How do I drive strong change management? How do I get true buy-in? That's actually, so my first book is Be Data Literate. My fourth book is basically business literacy, the business 101 side. Mm-hmm. So ways to make that happen is we have to get better at our communication. End of story. Like, data does not change a person's mind. Narrative changes a person's mind, but we need good data to support that narrative. That is the reality of it. So we need better communication. We need better networking. We can't just silo, here's the data team over there and the business over there. You should be collaborating constantly. But you can't collaborate if the fluency isn't there to be able to talk about these things. So that's, bar none, number one is that ability to communicate effectively throughout the organization. And then we take a look at the use cases, the pain points, the solutions, the insight. But without that communication foundation, it's not there. That's going to be the big key to driving good change management, get adoption and deployment, and make that culture really want to use this.
Yeah. And I know, like, communication strategies, getting people buying, it's not a sort of, it's not one solution that can fit every organization. Exactly. So there's not, that's the solution by Jordan. But what do you kind of suggest in terms of actual mechanics and activities that the data team and business unit heads can put into action to bring people together, to have this sort of convergence of business literacy and data literacy, and say, look, we're all kind of actually fighting the same fight here, guys. Like, your wins are my wins. It's not my data and your business and all that sort of thing. How would you suggest that people actually get together and go, yeah, we're a unified front, let's get this done?
You basically just said it. I would literally schedule a meeting where phones and laptops are not allowed. 30 to 60 minutes where you don't have technology, you don't have distractions. You literally put the business of problem up on the board. You have the business side, you have the data professionals all coming up with ideas to solve it. You'll find, to your point, we're on the same team. There shouldn't be a battle going back and forth. You're just trying to make these things thrive and help. And so that's a key one for me, is I'm huge on telling people, block 30 to 60 minutes of your calendar without distractions so you can do focused in work. So now imagine you have, let's say, a meeting, and don't make it too big. You don't want 100 people in there.
Yeah.
Consensus, that's just hard. But get key stakeholders, maybe 5 to 10 people, putting it on the board and saying, you can't have your phone, your laptop, keep it at the desk. We're just going to discuss things. Hey, data team, where are you struggling with this? Hey, business side, where are you struggling with the data? And you just talk human to human. I don't even care if it's virtual. Well, virtual, then you have your computer distractions. So that can be an issue. But it's all about conversing without distraction. And I think that we live in a world, there's a book of this title, Stolen Focus, where our focus is so distracted that it's hard for us to put aside time to do that. But if you can do that, and I promise we all can free up time on our calendar. We might not think so, but a lot of our work can just be busy work. 30 to 60 minutes a day or a week makes you more effective with business and data combined than just continuing on the path you're on.
Yeah. And how do you measure the outcomes of data literacy, business literacy, AI literacy programs? So I think some people are like, oh yeah, we'll do it, and it seems like everybody's kind of got it, but what gets measured gets done know, that sort of
Oh,
saying. Like,
absolutely.
how do you kind of know that, you know, my organization is becoming more data literate, business literate, you know, from a data perspective, etc.? Are there any sort of hard KPIs or metrics and things that you put in place for
Absolutely.
that?
And so for part of it is there's these metrics that sit out there, and I actually created some a week or two ago. So this is kind of important or perfect timing, but they're going to vary based on organizations. There's certain things that you can measure, like number of the courses are taken. So like in your data or AI literacy program, how many people are taking the courses? What are they doing with those courses? Are they completing those courses, etc.?
Mm-hmm.
There's also the side of it in understanding how much data is being used. Are we actually using it? Are we not using it? That sort of thing. And then there's the intangibles, right? Where you've got to be able to do self-assessments. And I would recommend maybe once a quarter, self-assessed and have what is called an iteration week is what I like to call them. And an iteration week means I'm going to evaluate the program. What's it doing, right? So we've got enrollment rates. How many people are enrolled in the program and using it? What are completion rates? What are attendance rates, engagement levels, etc.? The other things to do, we want to take a look at pre and post assessments. Did we see skill sets go up? Are there competency frameworks, tool proficiency? And then there's the behavioral changes. And those are going to be like increased data usage, improved decision making, governance and quality. Is that going up? Communication. So those are all metrics and KPIs and things you put in place. And it's going to vary based on organization so that we're ensuring a customization towards the models that we want.
Yeah. And in terms of, I guess, I think business always kind of wants to know what's the end goal for me? What's the end sort of result? And often that's something that is not clear immediately, you know, from a like a POC perspective, or what's the return on this data product, etc. How do you kind of build that faith in it, I suppose? You know, I mean, you should have, like, we've done a lot of other data products. They worked really well. This is the uplift in revenue, decrease in cost, whatever it may be. But how do you kind of, you know, get that sort of, you know, win the hearts and minds of people, say, if you walk this journey with us, this is the potential, and we're quite accurate in forecasting this, but this is the potential result that you're going to have for your business area?
I think you're spot on. I do think there's two sides of this conversation. There's number one, the investment side, and they need to understand there's true investments. There's going to be direct costs, right? There's training materials, maybe instructor fees, technology platforms, marketing and communication, direct costs, right? There's indirect costs. Employees are going to spend time in training, increasing their skill set, right? Administrative costs on the overhead, and potentially IT costs for new tools. So in order for these programs to succeed, you need the C-suite to really buy in, not just buy in with their words. They need to buy in with the dollar, right? They need to buy in with that. Now, they also need, if you want the C-suite to buy in, they need to know what kind of return they're going to get, right? So some of the benefits that directly come from this is like increased efficiency and productivity. So reduced time and analysis, utilizing AI for productivity and efficiency gains. Some of it could be automation, the streamlining of processes. Second benefits are going to look at like improved decision making that can lead to revenue and growth. So it could be new revenue opportunities. You could be optimizing cost reductions, enhancing the customer experience. Then you're looking at innovation, competitive advantage, risk mitigation. Could be that you're improving employee morale and retention. And that's because you're innovating, right? We're sitting in an era right now that if you sit around, you will be bypassed the companies who do things. That unequivocally. We could see it's not necessarily watching all the models being built right now that matter. It's the person working in a garage who releases something in the next month and boom, you're like, oh my gosh, and the world pivots. As long as you as an organization are innovative and transforming, those things are a part of what you do. They're not superseding or overpowering you. And I think that's part of this that is intangible, but those are intangible benefits that any organization should want.
And I think it's a good sort of link to the conversation. You wouldn't have seen it because I haven't put it out yet, that I had last week with Andy, and the talk, or the theme of the talk that we had was AI adoption is about people. You know, it's not about the technology, it's not about the process. That side of it is actually relatively easy, but it's actually about, you know, getting the people involved and, as you say, kind of, you know, improving them, giving them more ability, not replacing them. And I think that's kind of the doom and
Yes.
gloom. And I don't think people watching this, are naive enough to think that AI are going to take all jobs and all that sort of thing. But it's more about being able to communicate to the rest of the organization that we're not coming here to replace you. We're coming here to help you and actually make you
Yes.
better. This is an assistant and an
Yeah.
enabler, not a replacement.
I think you're spot on. And that's been the case with data and AI technology for years. Like, I can build a model that 1+1 = 2. That's the easy part. Getting people to buy in and believe in it who are not like, I live and breathe AI. You go out and talk to people, some are worried, some have no clue what's going on, all these things. But if you break it down, it's about, if we can allow the AI to make us more human, think about how much better. So anyone listening to this, go share it with everybody. And hopefully that makes this a huge episode. But because my next book is my 6th book, and it's around data and AI skills and confidence, because everyone has a seat at this table. What's really interesting is by 2030, the World Economic Forum said the top 10 fastest growing skills, and what's super interesting about this, 6 of the 10 are human related: creativity, analytical thinking, technology literacy, resilience. Those are the things that need to be applied with the AI, not superseded. Our job's going to shift, they already have. But if we can teach people, you have a part with this, and this is how you can do it, they can thrive with it versus fearing it. And I think when you turn the media on, the dystopian fear that is out there, how about we just figure out practical use cases to empower people to succeed with these things?
Yeah, yeah. And just in closing, a few minutes to go. We've both got kids, relatively similar ages. What are you doing from an encouragement point of view to get them? I mean, you obviously live and breathe AI. I mean, my dad's a data author. That's a very cool thing. So, I speak to my son about it regularly. He's 11. I'm not pushing it too hard just yet and stuff. But these are the sorts of things that they need to not fear. They need to either really be in it. Or someone said to me the other day, either become an electrician or a plumber. It's going to be super safe. AI is not coming for you. Or you get on board with AI. What are you doing with your own kids and their friends in terms of like just exposing them to AI so that we've got this almost future ready group of workers coming through the next 5, 10, 15 years?
It is a part of our family through and through. So my wife is doing a master's program, and her thesis, I believe, is all around AI and education. And for me, my kids use it if they want. So my oldest son uses it for his workouts, and he's 15. He's a big power lifter, so he'll use it to bulk, and then he needs to cut. He's got a power lifting competition. I talk about it all the time. They know that I write. So for me, I encourage everyone to find a way to just make it a part of our life. Like 30 years ago, we weren't talking as if the internet was going to be integrated. Maybe some people were. That it's just a part of our lives. Laptops, smartphones, iPods, music, all these things are just integrated into who we are. This is one technology moving faster than we can keep up with. I get that, but we should be viewing it similarly. How do I integrate AI into my life regularly just to make our life easier? So for our kids, is it travel plans? Is it workout plans? Is it a brand new, I'm cooking a big barbecue this weekend, talk about South Africa. I coach rugby at a university. One of our coaches is South African, from South Africa. So I said, we'll do a big braai. Okay, Gemini, my AI tool, help me design my recipe around a braai. So it's that, to me, is how you do it, is you just help people and your kids and family understand it's just a part of what we do. We have smartphones now. We're not using the big flip phones or anything anymore. I don't have a massive computer. I have my laptop. We just have to integrate it in that way.
And just the final point, I've seen a lot on social media around, and I think it's quite inflammatory, brain scan, brain activity of person not using GPT versus person who is, and the brain activity of the person who's constantly using ChatGPT is like really bad. Is that just like sensationalism, clickbait, or is there some truth in that? I mean, you're not a neuroscientist, but I'm sure you know better than me.
I do think there's truth in it, because I worry about it. Like, if we but I don't think it started with AI. I think social media started that train, right? It's just so easy to doom scroll, and we just read whatever news comes on our social media feed, even though the algorithm might be feeding it on purpose, and it's just what it is. Now we have AI that'll just give us answers, where I'm a huge believer as it should be my partner, PhD partner in many topics. So I use it to learn. I use it to study. Just today, I had it write a summary of a book I'm listening to. And then I used multiple documents I built for a company I'm on the board of, use the points that it gave me. And I said, I need to go to market around this, create me. And it's like a 24-page paper.
Mm.
The only way that becomes something debilitating for my cognitive skill is if I don't study it and learn it. So I do think it could be a great enhancement to our cognitive ability, but we seek comfort and ease. That's what the human does. If you just over rely on it, then yes, I actually do worry our cognitive muscles will weaken. You and I are fitness nerds, right?
Yeah.
We stop running. How quick does it lose itself? Very quickly.
Yeah.
And it takes a while to build. We need to be thinking the same way about our cognitive muscles. If we're not working them out, then they're going to go weaker.
Yeah. I just become grumpy when I don't run. So my wife is like, you need to go for a run. You're edgy, you're grumpy. We're get it done, which I thank her for, because I absolutely love being out on the road.
That's what I said. I said it in the past. Like, if I'm ever in a bad mood, just send me to the mountains. How do you not come home happy?
Yeah, perfect. Jordan, it's been great chatting to you. Thanks so much. Unprepared, but just ran perfectly. We look forward to seeing you in South Africa. Those of you going to the AI Expo, make sure you go and say hi to Jordan or house it, because we're in South Africa. And hope to see you in Cape Town, and we'll continue the chat.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, man. Good to chat to you. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Awesome.